Good evening, folks, and a very, very warm welcome to you, and thank you for joining us here on the Geelong Region Soccer Show. My name's Tonchi Prusak, I'm your host, and it is episode 148. After tonight, we've got 2 more episodes left in 2024, and we're hoping the last episode in a fortnight's time is going to be an epic one. Speaking of epic, the weekend just gone by was huge, was absolutely massive, well, absolutely epic. And as a result, we've got an epic show on tonight. We've got no less than 4 guests, folks. We've got DENIS HOLTGREFE, the coach of the Surf Coast senior men's team. On the weekend, not only did they clinch promotion, but they clinched the State League 4 men's title, and congratulations to everyone at Surf Coast. I had the honour of being out there on Saturday night, and we've got some fantastic video footage, some post-match interviews, also some great footage of the post-match celebrations that spilled onto the pitch, and we've also got match highlights as well. So do stay tuned for that a little bit later on in the show. We'll be talking to NATALIE PICAK. She is a local girl, a Lara girl, who is has re-signed with Western United in the A-League women's competition. There's a nice little interview there with NATALIE, as well as she embarks on her second season in the A-League women's competition. I do say she's the only Geelong footballer, male or female, to be currently playing in the A-League, either the men or the women's competition. So she provides a little bit of very good advice for some of our budding youngsters around town, hoping to one day follow in her footsteps. We're going to be speaking to Andrew Burgess. He's the Operations Manager at FUTSAL Ballarat, which is also FUTSAL Geelong. They operate the local futsal competition. Things are really hotting up as the winter season slowly comes to an end. The summer futsal season is about to take off with a record number of teams expected to play this year. And from all accounts, it looks like there will be caps to the number of teams able to play in the competitions. But we will be hearing a little bit more about what the plans for FUTSAL Geelong are for the region, and when we speak to Andrew Burgess a little bit later on. Paul GRZYBEK has been on the show before. He's the president of the LARA United Football Club. And they've got a massive game this weekend, the senior men's, coming up on Friday night. It's the local derby coming up against the Deakin Ducks. And, this is going to be an absolute perler of a game, because if Lara draws or wins, they will claim their first ever senior men's league title. They've already secured promotion to men's state for next year. Deakin Ducks need a win to keep their hopes alive as well, and to remain in second position on the competition standings, because that also takes them to State 2 next year. So a lot of big games happening. Now, working in the for the Geelong football community, I guess, as a lot of people do know, I also moonlight as the Geelong Advertiser's external football correspondent. So that means I write articles. They commission me to write 3 articles a week. I send it through to them and it gets submitted. And I also obviously do a lot of work with the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. And it can be sometimes a thankless job, working with Geelong football clubs and identities and supporters. They often dwell on the negative or speculate about certain things. But from time to time, you do get very, messages of, and on Saturday night, I got quite a fair few from people at Surf Coast, which was great to see a lot of people from different clubs. But today, in particular, I received this message and just wanted to personally thank this person. I don't want to mention names, but emails like this or text messages like this. Thank you for coming down on Saturday, doing all that you did with the paper and for your show. I do appreciate all of everyone who was throughout the year supported this program and supported the work that I do. We've got a fantastic football community here in Geelong, and it can only get even more better, even more fantastic if off the field we put rivalries aside, egos aside, and work together. On the field, that's a different story. We want to win at all costs if that is the case, depending on which level of football you're at. On that note, a big thank you to our major sponsor, the Gordon, Joe, the CEO, and everyone else involved in the marketing team there. If it wasn't for the Gordon, quite simply, the Geelong Region Soccer Show would not have come up to episode 148 and see out the season in 2025. So a massive thank you to the Gordon. On that note, we're going to take a short break. Here's a couple of messages from the Gordon. When we return, it's the news desk.
Your future is in your hands. There is a whole world waiting for you, and your choices determine how you will impact it. At the Gordon, we recognise this. That's why we champion hands-on learning. Get your hands dirty. Grab what's in front of you. Learn by doing. Turn your passion, your ideas, and mould them into your creations. You'll be supported the entire way. You'll grow your skills in small classes, guided by teachers who are industry experts. You'll learn in state-of-the-art facilities or out in a real-world workplace setting. Your hands-on experience will increase your understanding and put you ahead of your university peers. You'll graduate work-ready, and you'll graduate sooner, with a huge range of qualifications to choose from and support services to enable your success. Now is the time to continue your learning journey. At the Gordon, your future is in your hands.
Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. As we said, it is episode 148, which translates to episode 23 this year. Now, before we move on, a couple of housekeeping notices, I guess. Tomorrow night, Geelong takes on Clifton Hill in a State League One catch-up game. It's a must-win game for Geelong, and we'll talk a little bit more about that very, very shortly. But very, very important game. Game kicks off at the home of the Matildas at 8:15 p.m. tomorrow night. So if you are in the mood, head down to the home of the Matildas tomorrow night, and it's going to be an important game. Shame there's no live stream. Would be great for those that are unable to make it, or even the young kiddies. But nonetheless, an important game there for Geelong. And like I said, we will talk a little bit about that very, very shortly. Now, I guess it's not something that applies to us here in Geelong, but it may directly or indirectly affect football in the region. Earlier today, in fact, just before we went to air, Football Australia has released a media statement regarding the national second tier development. To be honest, it doesn't really say much. It just says that the Football Australia and the 8 national second tier foundation clubs convened today in Sydney to progress discussions on the future of the national second division competition. The discussions were highly constructive, with all clubs expressing a shared vision and dedication to creating an NST that serves the interests of all stakeholders. We'll continue their dialogue over the coming weeks with a focus to ensure the best possible outcome. Doesn't really say much apart from it was held earlier today. Okay, Media Watch. What has been happening in the local news? In Friday's edition of the Geelong Advertiser, Coasters chase champion victory. A preview of the big game where Surf Coast was on the verge of securing its first promotion in 14 years with the big game against the second-placed Keilor Wolves, the second on the following night. Also on Friday in the Surf Coast Times, Surf Coast FC 1 point away from promotion. An article there by Vinnie Van Oorschot from the Surf Coast Times. And it must be said, the Surf Coast Times have given a lot of publicity this year to Surf Coast, and so too has the Geelong Advertiser. In Saturday's edition of the Geelong Advertiser, history beckons for Lara with league title in sight. LARA United will be looking to give coach Eric Lawrence an early wedding present if it can defeat Wyndham FC in Hoppers Crossing today. The LARA coach set to tie the knot later in the year, in the off-season. Unfortunately, LARA wasn't able to win, but I think they did that on purpose so that they could secure or aim to secure the league title at home. We'll be talking to LARA President Paul GRZYBEK a little bit later on about that Friday night's massive game coming up. The curtains were drawn on what was a rather forgettable season for North Geelong in the Victorian Premier League competition. They travelled away to Melbourne City after being down 2-0 at the break. Goals through Anthony Leban and George Ellis ensured the Warriors finished the season relatively on a high with a 2-2 result. They finished the season in 14th spot. They are relegated to next year's VPL 2 division. The bright, I guess, the shining light of the season so far, or this year, has been the emergence of about 7 or 8 teenagers in the Warriors lineup. On the weekend, they even had even more juniors making their senior debut. In the women's Victorian Premier League competition, in round 19, Geelong Galaxy defeated Melbourne University in a very, very high-scoring affair at Hume Reserve. Yamamoto scored a double, Nunn, Enzor, and an own goal. This week, the Galaxy hosts the top team, Spring Hills, at Hume Reserve. It's going to be a very tough game against the NPLW-bound Spring Hills. But that game kicks off at 3 p.m. this Sunday. Let's turn our attention to the Men's State League. And drama aplenty in State League 1. Corio, currently in second last position, prior to the weekend, did Geelong a huge favour by defeating second-place Brimbank Stallions 5-0. This must be some sort of sensation of the year. Congratulations to Corio. The goal scorers Hashimoto, Sawyer Sofronu, Angus Chapman, Billy Argyros, and Jamie Nogler, all scoring singles. That meant that Geelong came up against not Sydenham Park. I apologise, that's incorrectly. Upfield. And it was a 2-2 result in the end there. Geelong took a 2-0 lead. Ishii and Deluri scoring the goals there for Geelong. They conceded 2 second-half goals through set pieces, by the way. But Geelong will have that opportunity tomorrow to expand their lead in second place. So basically what happens is Brimbank and Geelong now have the same amount of points, but because of the 5-0 shellacking that Brimbank received at the hands of Corio, they've got an inferior goal difference compared to Geelong. Geelong's now got a goal difference of +5. Stallions have got a goal difference of +3. So well done to Corio. Well done to Geelong for getting a point, and that now means that they are in second position with a game in hand. They must win tomorrow's game against Clifton Hill. And if that happens, then what will happen is they will be 3 points clear plus a better goal difference. Then, this is the big thing, over the next 3 weeks, Geelong takes on Yarraville away. That's this Saturday. Then they host Brimbank at home, which could be the decider. And then the toughest game of them all against Whittlesea United, who may well be the champions by that stage. That will be the last home game. So they've got 2 home games coming up in rounds 21 and rounds 22, and then an away trip against Yarraville, a winnable game coming up this weekend. That should be absolutely a climactic last 3 weeks of the State League season. Let's go back to the State League results. In State League 2, Geelong Rangers weren't able to come home with the 3 points against Hume United. Takahashi scoring the only goal for the Rangers. Now, we'll return to State League 4 action very, very shortly. But in the meantime, let's go to State League 5. Deakin Ducks defeated ETA Buffalo 4-0. Sam White scoring 2 goals. Interisi once again getting on the score sheet after scoring last week. And Jacoby scoring a goal as well. Wyndham and LARA United fought out a 0-0 draw. And in the game against Spring Hills away from home, Ocean Grove returned with as 2-1 winners, goals by Favetta and Benson. But State League 4 on the weekend, Surf Coast were crowned league champions after defeating Keilor Wolves 5-0. Well done there to everyone associated with Surf Coast, and we'll provide a very extensive coverage of that win and that game very shortly. But let's go through some of the other games. Barwon against Melton Phoenix. Christian Davis once again scored for Barwon, but it wasn't enough as Melton ran away 3-1 winners. And Bell Park travelled to Balmoral Park, which was always going to be a tough game, but they came away with a sensational 3-1 win. It has been an absolutely fantastic last few weeks by Bell Park. Mio Marinovic, Max and Mitchell Stosic scoring the goals there for Bell Park. That now means that Bell Park have now jumped into 9th position. Barwon have dropped to 10th position. But all the action was at Banyule Warrior Reserve. Was the appointed referee. A very good crowd in attendance, probably one of the biggest crowds. Some people said that the crowds were estimated at over 500. There were the lavish new facilities were absolutely grand. The pub rooms upstairs, and there was probably as many kids on the other fields just having a kick as there are spectators watching the actual game. But the first half was a cagey affair. The opening half saw Surf Coast enjoy the majority of the possession. And having said that, neither side really created any clear-cut scoring chances. There was one of them. But as the second half kicked off, that's when the game really came to life. It was just 6 minutes in the 51st minute, and from a corner, Christian Mann rose high to head the ball home with the Coasters the early lead. Just 7 minutes later, Mann once again was on the end of some fantastic build-up play, swatting the ball past to double the Coasters' lead and to also score his 8th goal of the season. It was 2-0 after 58 minutes. 4 minutes later, Jon Fleikert popped up at the back post to make it 3-0. His 14th goal from 12 games this year, and saw him elevated to 4th on the top scorers list. The Coasters weren't happy with that lead. They wanted more. And the shots started coming quite frequently. In the 90th minute, substitute Milton Bailey calmly fired the ball past the Keilor Wolves keeper to make it 4-0. He'd come on in the 63rd minute for his top goal of the season. And then 2 minutes later, in the 96th minute, Blackwood Carnival put the icing on the cake with his 4th goal of the season and will be anything. That set off some frenzied and wild and euphoric celebrations after the game as spectators, officials, members, fans, visitors, they all spilt onto the pitch, and we'll see some of the action, including a lot of post-match interviews as well a little bit later on in the show. But after the game, I did catch up with the Surf Coast coach, DENIS HOLTGREFE, and this is what he had to say.
At the moment, the coach, he's responsible for, along with a lot of the backroom staff as well. But, mate, what a win. Well, after last year's heartbreak, this is all the more sweeter, but arguably, probably undeniably, the greatest day of the club's history, isn't it?
Look, 100%, Tonchi. I mean, no words can describe how everyone feels, and as you rightfully said, it takes so many people to come together and create something special. And I think this football club has really, departed on a journey that's just going to go upwards, right? And I guess the senior men's team. I mean, look at the faces, how happy they are, and the work that they put in. It all came together today. They worked hard for this moment, and we're very grateful that so many people rocked up.
Yeah, well, arguably one of the hardest divisions to get out of, State 4, but you've done that. You're in State 3 next year. We've spoken to a few of the players about next year. What can we expect next year? Could it be 2 in a row?
Look, we're not going to look that far ahead, mate. Like, we've got a massive party tonight. Yeah, we're just gonna enjoy the moment, embrace it, because this is what we worked so hard for. And to be honest, the season's not finished, right? We've got 3 more games to go. We also have obviously playing the other state league, right? Wanting to win that match as well. Because today was really about showcasing and demonstrating that we deserve to be promoted. And kudos to everyone involved. Yeah, the guys did a fantastic job.
Will the focus be on some of the up-and-coming youngsters, the youth, promoting them, giving them a chance, or is it just basically to let these guys continue celebrating what they've achieved this year?
Look, of course, we hope that they continue, but we want more younger kids, right? We had a 15-year-old start this year, 16-year-old come off the bench. Our reserves are now, I think, on average about 22 years of age, right? And we really want to get into that under 23 sort of mode where we have a lot of young kids coming through, right? And also, give our juniors, our young ones, the opportunity to then, be able to play state league football.
Just back to the game today, it was 0-0 at half-time, and then in the second half, the juggernaut just went absolutely crazy with 5 goals. Was it a bit nervous at the half-time? What did you say to the boys at half-time that made them come out so fiery in the second half and scoring a goal within 6 minutes?
Look, I think, all we really spoke about is clean up the final passes, just clean up the tackles, be a little bit more, aggressive on the front foot, and that's what they did in the second half, because usually the spaces will open up when the fatigue of the opposition sort of sets in. It was exactly like that. In the second half, we had much more of the ball and we were able to dominate spaces, and really, really great performance.
Let's continue with the news desk, and let's have a look, before we look at the Women's State League and the local leagues, let's have a look at the fixtures for this weekend coming. Obviously in State League 1, Geelong tomorrow has got that very, very important game against Clifton Hill coming up at the home of the Matildas. That game kicking off at 8:15 p.m. tomorrow night. Ballarat City, they will host Corio, so 7th versus 11th at the Ballarat Regional Facility at 3 p.m. And then Geelong travels to 10th placed Yarraville at McIver Reserve Saturday night. By that stage, well, we could almost have confirmation of Geelong being promoted to next year's VPL2 competition. Then again, we may not. But so it's very, very crucial that Ante Mordic's men are able to collect the maximum points over the next few weeks. In State League 2 action, Geelong Rangers, who are currently in second last position, they travelled to 9th placed LARA United at HR Urine Reserve. That's at 3 p.m. Now, we must make note that at State League 1 and State League 2, the bottom team only is getting relegated. So Corio at the moment and Geelong Rangers at the moment are safe from that relegation. Now we've got the action in State League 4, Bell Park, who are 9th. They take on 11th place Truganina at the Bell Park Sports Club. Surf Coast, who are top and cannot be dislodged from the top position, they take on Moonee Ponds United, who are 6th at Banyule Warrior Reserve. That game kicks off at 5 p.m. And Barwon, who are 10th, taking on Melbourne City, who are 5th. And that game kicking off at 5:15 p.m. at Grovedale Reserve. Now, just a point about Corio and Yarraville. So Yarraville at the moment are in 10th position with 23 points. Clifton Hill are in 9th position with 23 points. They've got their game in hand against Geelong. And then Corio are in 11th position with 22. So a good win by Corio and other results going their way, they could jump up as high as 9th position by the end of round 20. So some interesting facts there. Go Corio, go Geelong Rangers. In fact, go Geelong teams, full stop. In State League 5, the big one. Friday night, all roads lead to Lara Recreation Reserve. Kick-off at 8:30 p.m. LARA United against Deakin Ducks. It's a must-win game for both teams, and a draw will be sufficient for LARA United to be crowned champions. Deakin Ducks really need to get wins to maintain their position. At the moment, with 3 rounds remaining in Division in State League 5, currently, Deakin are on 39 points with a massive goal difference of plus 34. Maidstone United are in third position with 36 points, goal difference of 11. Gisborne have played 18 games, so they've played 1 game more. They're in 4th position with 35 points. So Deakin are looking good, but they do need to win, I guess, 2 out of their last 3 games effectively. That's what they need to do, win 2 out of their last 3 games. So they can afford to lose this one, for example, but then they can't afford to lose the remaining 2 games. Either way, let's hope for a fantastic contest come Friday night at Lara Recreation Reserve. Let's have a look at the Women's State League. In round 16 action, North Geelong Warriors drew with bottom side Brunswick Zebras 0-0, and that effectively killed any hope they had of finishing in second spot. And the second placed team, Mill Park, defeated the top team, Avondale, 3-0. So they've opened up a 4-point gap over the Warriors at the top. They've opened up a gap to North Geelong Warriors by 4 points, but Warriors now have dropped to 4th spot. Clifton Hill have overtaken them. This week, North Geelong hosts Craigieburn City, which are 5th at Alco Park. Now, in State 2, Geelong Rangers travelled to Sydenham Park and lost 7-2. Cope and McDougall scoring the goals for Rangers. This weekend, Rangers, who are in 6th position, host 5th placed Maribyrnong Swifts. Okay, let's turn our attention now to the local league. And if we'll have a look, first of all, at the women's competition. And as we can see there, Bowen are on top with 30 points, followed by Bell Park on 27. And then Deakin Uni Black, they've got a game in hand against Lara United, who are in 5th position. Deakin has 25 points, and they could jump into 2nd spot. On the weekend, we saw Surf Coast defeated Cry-Bay 4-2. Bowen defeated Leopold 8-0. Ocean Grove lost to Bell Park 6-2. And Deakin was actually supposed to take on Lara United. So if anyone in the chat knows the score, please pop that score down. On the Football Victoria Geelong website, we don't have results for that game in particular. So Deakin University taking on Lara United. If we know the results, that would be absolutely fantastic. To the men's division on the weekend, Bell Park defeated Geelong Rangers 6-0 to maintain top spot on the competition standings. Lara United defeated Geelong 7-2 Friday night at Stead Park. On Sunday, Surf Coast defeated Breakwater Eagles 4-1. Big shout out to Jim Contageorgis, the Breakwater Eagles president. It is his birthday today. And in the final game, Armstrong United travelled to near neighbours Bowen, and at Grovedale Reserve came away with a 4-1 win. So we've got really a 3-way battle for that top spot between Bell Park, Surf Coast and Armstrong United. All right, folks, we're going to take a very, very short break. When we return, we will be speaking with our first guest tonight, and it is she's a member of the Western United A-League women's team and has last week re-signed with the A-League club, NATALIE PICAK, who is a local girl. We'll be speaking to her straight after the break.
Sarah Kane from distance. Sarah Kane strikes into the hands of Nat Pichak. The Coldians.
Henderson, meanwhile, she's on the ball and she's shooting, forcing a save. The rebounds again by Pichak. Fantastic save.
Looks for Roach. Roach taps it essentially for Mickleffe, her captain. Pichak's there first, and the keeper that works into the box. Finds Romano. She shoots. Denied by Pichak. Tremendous save there from the corner. Works it back in. Repelled by Pichak, but not held. Roach eventually plays for her captain Mickleffe. Mickleffe shot is kept out by Pichak. Monopoulos. Papasanos. Iromano has a crack from range. Comfortably denied by Pichak. Can't return the ball to Roach. Rap plays wide for Papasanos. Papasanos into the box. Westland gets a touch. She cleared just in time by Calder. Rap with a shot from range. Denied by Pichak. Fantastic diving save there from Chronopoulos, who looks to play the long ball forward. Roach might get caught offside here. Flags kept down. And so, we wait the referee's whistle. She shoots. She's denied by Pichak. Still in play. And is cleared into safety by Eki.
Determination by Christensen finds the run of Candilis at the back post. Candilis, she keeps it in. Pichak has to make the save. And South Melbourne will... Roach with the through ball. This time Danielle Wise is onside. Great Pichak save in the end. Was able to get down low, and this South Melbourne, that relentless pressure from South Melbourne really bearing fruit. And the one inside, what a brilliant save by Natalie Pichak. She's absolutely having a blinder. The scoreline does not reflect the game that Natalie Pichak is having. Top of the box, Larry and Christensen once again coming together. Christensen able to hold it up. Danielle Wise, she finds a shot through the bodies, and Pichak does well to get low to her right this time and steer it round the post. It would have been difficult.
There we have it, and on the line is Natalie Pichak, a local girl who's re-signed for Western United. Nat, great to have you on the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, there were some fantastic highlights there. Well done on that. And congratulations, first of all, on signing with Western United. But you were a member of the inaugural Western United squad last year. How was that? Describe your experiences of being part of history in the making.
Well, being part of Western United Women's last season was really great. It's really like an honour to represent the new franchise in the West. It was an amazing experience, great training, and with some of the best players in the country in an elite environment. It was really, really good.
Yeah. And what did you do in the off-season? We can see there in action with Calder United. So did you return back to the NPL competition, did you?
Yes, yeah. I returned to Calder United and really concentrated on my development and increasing my training programs, including on my nutrition and gym, just to make sure my body performs to 100%.
Yeah, no, awesome. So what was the standard like of this year's comp? We're talking about the NPLW, especially taking into account Brunswick Juventus, Essendon Roars and Preston Lions joined the newly expanded 12-team league.
Yeah, it's good. Like, their standard is definitely improving year on year. And like the clubs that were mentioned are very strong and the competition's growing stronger, which is great. It's good to see it continue to grow.
Yeah. Back to the A-League Women's. The comp has now expanded also to 12 teams, and last year included a record number of rounds, a full home and away season of 22 games. Now, it must be an exciting time to be part of the growth of the Elite Women's League in Australia.
Yeah, it's very exciting, especially in these next upcoming years. The development on the women's game is on a rise. I feel so privileged to be a part of the exciting growth of the A-League Women's competition, and the the competition's immense, and it only makes you stronger, which I look forward to becoming stronger.
Yeah, and speaking of stronger and better, Western United did extremely well in its inaugural season, finishing third. Wow, that's pretty good. Can the team go one or two places better this year and maybe even take out the title?
Honestly, anything is possible. We have a strong coaching team, a great group of talented players, and a hunger to succeed, so we can make anything happen.
Yeah. What about you personally? What are your goals for this upcoming season?
My goals this season is to continue to improve on my skills and experience on the game. With hard work, I'm really determined to try break into the starting squad.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the other keepers there. One of the keepers, she's come from Canberra United. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
What's her name?
Chloe Lincoln. Yeah, she's the under-20s young Matilda. So it's very good to see new keepers come in, and then we can all work together and grow together as a team.
Yeah, and really learn from them as well. Yeah. And would she be the first string keeper or at this stage?
At this stage, I'm not too sure. It's all like in the fighting, really. So anything can really happen.
Lawson now on to Wise, and Wise starting.
Oops. What about further down the track? Where do you see yourself playing football in, say, 3 to 5 years' time?
Yeah, down the track, I love to be playing professionally as a number one goalkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
Where that may be, the future will tell. Somewhere in Europe would be awesome, even representing Australia. If I keep working hard and improving on myself, there's no reason why I can't make it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're certainly going to be following your journey with lots of interest. I think you're the only Geelong player in the National League men's or women's. So congratulations on that and well done. Finally, I guess your advice to talented young junior footballers, especially to the young girls here in Geelong, what would you say to those kids wanting to play at the highest level in this country or just in generally? What would be some words of advice to give?
Some words of advice is work hard and don't give up on yourself and keep believing. Be humble and never be afraid to make mistakes. It's the best way to learn.
Yeah.
I've achieved so much, but this is only the beginning. I look forward to seeing many more girls representing our region, especially in Geelong, and hopefully I can inspire some of them.
Well, good on you, Nat. Wishing you all the very best for the upcoming Liberty A-League women's season and beyond as well. Do Geelong proud, and I'm sure you will.
Sweet.
The world is yours. So work hard, and you can have whatever it is you want.
Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show, and isn't it great to see some local talent breaking through onto the elite stage here of the sport here in Australia. It's time now for our next guest, and it's an absolute pleasure to welcome to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. In fact, welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show to Andrew Burgess, who's the Operations Manager of FUTSAL Ballarat, which also looks after futsal in Geelong. Andrew, good evening. How are you?
Good evening, Tunch. I am absolutely pumped. And what a player is Natalie. That was her highlights package. Very, very impressive. We might need to see her at the futsal court very soon.
I'll tell you what, absolutely fantastic to see. Absolutely incredible. And she's certainly going places. But, mate, you've just come back from a bit of a stint in America. Speaking of going places, and that was all to do with futsal. Wow, the international game. Tell us a little bit about that before we talk about locally.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very exciting. We had a 10-day tour across to Orlando in the USA, and we took an under-10s group, believe it or not, the little babies who were all quite talented players, and they played in the USA Roadshow Nationals, so that was their Nationals futsal event, and then they rolled into the World Futsal Championships after that. And Tunch, can I say it is amazing or brilliant to see we're at the Orange County Convention Centre, 21 courts going all at the same time, 450 teams, 3,500 players, all aged between 6 and 18, and to walk into that and see it firsthand was just brilliant to see that the sport is live and well and thriving. United Futsal over there run a great show, and our kids had an amazing opportunity. We played over 12 games across that week in the two different tournaments. The boys got to play teams from drawn across the USA. We didn't get any international teams. I did have some other international teams across there from Brazil, Spain, Mexico and Argentina as well, but unfortunately we just didn't pick up any of those in our group. But we got to play teams from across the States, United States, and made some great connections, some great friendships, and the boys had an incredible time and picked up 2 silver medals to boot. So couldn't have been happier with the result and the experience for playing internationally.
Well, that's definitely something that local boys could look forward to, especially with the Australian National Futsal Championships to be held in Melbourne in January of next year. We might even chat a bit about that later on. But let's talk about the summer season coming up. Last week it was launched, the process for registering teams, and there is some information there about 2024 Summer 1 competition. So we'll ask you a little bit about that for those that aren't familiar with that. We're looking at, there are going to be two teams, two leagues, a Summer 1 and a Summer 2 competition. Tell us about what that means, actually.
Yes, spot on, Tonch. So what we've learned down here over the last couple of years is obviously the strong culture around outdoor football, which we love and have been a part of for a long time as well. But to try and work in with the football community here and continue to build a strong futsal following, we've broken our leagues down into Summer 1, which is basically starting in October, runs to December. So it's about a 10-week season. And then we'll have a break for only a couple of weeks, and then we run Summer 2, which kicks off mid-January and finishes in March. And the reason we've done that is we want to get outdoor footballers playing. We want to open those opportunities up, and we think the best chance to do that is to break it down into good leagues where they can actually come in and play. They might not be able to play for the whole 6 months, but if we can get them for 4 or 5 months in that period, that would be brilliant. We're going to go this year with our senior men's, will be Monday, Wednesday nights. Very excitingly, we want to push a women's and girls night only on the Tuesday night. So, you know, I'm looking at the quality of footballers that are down in this region, and we know they are. We actually had 160 odd girls and women play with us last year in our competitions, and we'd love to build on this year. And I saw when you had your slide up before, like 8 Geelong clubs, specifically with women's teams playing the local league. Then we've got the state league teams and as well running around. So we know that there's a strong women's and girls culture down here. We would love to get some buy-in from that and support that as well, and get women and girls playing with us on Tuesdays. And we'll have other youth competitions then on the Thursdays and the Friday, and our juniors will be running on Saturdays. So it's a full program. We would love to see as many kids and many adults playing with us this year as possible and having a brilliant summer season.
To register your team, all the information is there on the Geelong Futsal website, www.geelongfutsal.com.au. That's www.geelongfutsal.com.au. All that information is there. Now, when Futsal Ballarat took over the running of the Geelong Futsal competitions last year from the city of Greater Geelong, we've certainly seen the numbers have just been absolutely astounding, especially in that first part of the summer competition. And the record number of entries last year, I think to the point that Saturday afternoons had to even stretch out into Saturday mornings had to stretch out into the early afternoons. Is there a likelihood that there may well have to be a capped amount of teams per division this year?
Yeah, look, that is a potential. Obviously, the more people, we want more people playing as possible. So we're going to do everything we can to get as many players through the door and playing futsal as we possibly can. But absolutely, we've had strong interest already. We've been running, we run all year. So our Monday and Wednesday comps already have over 30 teams there that are playing weekly right now.
Yep.
So we will look to build on those with additional time slots for those days. But absolutely, there will be caps coming in on some of the competitions, and as demand goes and grows. And, you know, we really want to see, you know, that'll be a great problem for us to have, obviously, for a competition point of view. You've talked before, Tonch, about the Nationals will come up in Melbourne in January. We would love to see more Geelong players represented at both that Victorian state level, but also in our tournament programs. We'll be looking to take teams and select teams to go up to the Gold Coast International again this year, which will be held in Gold Coast in January. We've got a tournament program with our regional series coming up. We'd love to have Geelong players and teams there.
Yep.
And build on what the Geelong, actually we had Geelong girls playing in our 11s and 14s last year, teams that went to the Gold Coast. And we would love to be looking about trying to get some standalone Geelong teams up and running to go and take away. So Dermot and I are very committed. I'm actually down in Geelong at the moment, and I'm committed to being here for the summer season and making sure that we really grow the comps. The professionalism you'll see out of us is going to continue to be first rate. All our teams, the way that we want it to play, we've put on extra referees. We're working with the GRFA with getting their refs involved as well. So really embedding ourselves into the football and our futsal community that's down here.
Yeah, and from personal experience as a past junior coach of 12s and 13s, I can tell firsthand of the benefits to the kids themselves of playing a sport like futsal and how much it improves their technical ability and their close ball control skills as well. So I would absolutely recommend parents of all ages to get their kids involved in futsal. Andrew, thank you so much for that. We're going to pop up. There we go. The slide with all of those details where you can go to find out more information or to register a team. That competition kicks off the week. The competitions kick off the week of the 13th of October and running through till December, just before Christmas. So we certainly look forward to hearing more from Futsal Geelong, and really appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you very much for the time, Tonchi. We love the show. It's brilliant to touch base with the Geelong football community and work with you and the clubs down there to make it even stronger. So thanks for your time.
Good on you. We love having you on. Bye.
Hi, I'm Joe Gergich.
And I'm Helena Fantella.
And welcome to our family here at Harcourts.
Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Very, very shortly, we'll be speaking with the president of LARA United Football Club, Paul GRZYBEK, about this Friday night's massive, massive game between Lara and Deakin Ducks in the State 5, local derby. But last weekend was a massive weekend for Surf Coast captain KRESO JURKOVIC. Not only did his team, secure the league title after 14 years of trying, but personally, on a personal note, it was a big, big, big week for him and his brother, who also plays for Surf Coast, Luka Jurkovic. They became uncles for the first time, and I caught up with them after the game, and it was a double celebration for the Jurkovic household.
Oh, fantastic! It's still just going to settle in for a bit now, but 14, 15 years without promotion, you can see how it means to everyone. So it means a lot to us as well.
Good on you, mate. The Jurkovic brothers during the week became uncles for the first time, and today double celebration. Luka, how does it feel, mate?
Oh, it's unbelievable, mate. Got the family here watching, got a good supporters base. Little Lucas, nephew now, unbelievable.
You guys have played at the high level. You've played at the NPL, the VPL. Okay, and now next year, boys are moving up to State 3. KRESO captain, what can we expect from the club, from the players, from the team next year?
No, the same stuff. We want to do the same thing. This year was a big year, but we believe we can back ourselves to do the same thing. Go again.
Double celebration, enjoy.
As you could see, all this celebration, all the excitement spilled onto the pitch after the game. There were fans everywhere. There were past officials, present officials, players as well, mingling with jubilant supporters. And after the game, I caught up with some of the players and club officials and indeed club legends. Here's what they had to say.
Quickly, Jasko, been a long time waiting. How does it feel, mate?
Good, feels good.
Celebrations tonight.
Yep, all night
Another
long.
level.
No stopping tonight.
Christia's past president. How does it feel, mate? How does it feel?
It's amazing. A lot of hard work. The boys have done well. The president's done well. They've done so well, man.
From the past to the present, Brett King, current president, mate, congratulations. How does it feel?
Over the moon. The relief of the planning, the
Like, coming so close, but this year you did it with a few rounds to spare. Christian, how does that feel?
Oh, it's amazing. We started back in November last year, and just have a look around at the crowd, everyone down to support us. We can't thank them enough, but we're just glad to do them proud and do us proud. We've worked so hard.
State 3 next year, boys. What can we expect?
that's a big question.
Two for two. Off you go, guys. Off you go. An absolute club legend, and the stand's named after you. How do you feel, mate, after this long-awaited success?
14 years. 14 years we've been in this division, and it's just one of the proudest days that I can remember. We, right up there was starting the club. We started the club, we applied to get into the state leagues. It was a hard job. There were only 3 clubs taken out of 7 applicants. We got into the state leagues, and we had a plan, and the plan's continued.
Who's an absolute legend of the club, mate. You're just soaking it in, you're just savouring this. This is unbelievable. How do you feel after all these years and after last year's heartbreak to finally be celebrating a promotion and league championship?
Yeah, it feels like it's been a long time coming, but I guess the heartbreaker last year I think really spurred the boys on. Starting in November last year, we had one thing in mind, and I guess we're aiming for kind of the perfect season this year, which we haven't achieved, but I guess the football we played and the way we've gone about it this year is just credit to the team and the effort they put in the year.
Apologies, it seems that we had some sort of an internet issue and it cut out midway through that, but we are back on deck, and that was the colour, the pageantry, the celebration, the pomp and ceremony, as they say, that happened out at Banyulwarri Reserve last Saturday night. Those type of scenes may well be repeated this Friday night at Lara Recreation Reserve, when LARA United hosts Deakin Ducks in the big Round 20 State League 5 men's competition. Local derby, a draw is all that Lara requires, and they will be crowned league champions for the first time ever. To tell us about the build-up to Friday night's blockbuster is the president of LARA United, Paul GRZYBEK. Paul, good evening and welcome to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. How are you?
Tonsi, good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Thanks for your patience. We have been running behind schedule tonight, and also, I don't know, we've got the technological issues again, but hopefully that'll all be put aside. It'll be all cast aside, and this Friday night, it's a big game. But, mate, let's talk about that. A win last week against Wyndham would have done it, would have clinched it, but only a draw. But I think that was all planned, wasn't it, so that all the celebrations would happen in front of the home fans.
I wish that was the case. Yeah. We had a very big contingent come with us, probably the biggest I've seen all year, to an away game. So very exciting. But unfortunately, Wyndham were equal to us on the day, and we couldn't produce the result that we wanted. So, but I was watching the Surf Coast club there celebrating 15 years, or was it 14 years?
14 years, I think it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Their last promotion.
11 years we've been in State 5 ever since we've joined State League. So I really hope that's us this week against Deakin. But our games, no matter where we are on the ladder, are always close. So I know it's going to be a tough match with Deakin because they're fighting. Well, not only they're fighting for top spot as well. I mean, if the cards play right for them, we'll drop to second and they can go to first. So hopefully that's not the case, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's right. The way the cookie crumbles at the moment, there are 2 games to go for LARA United. And then I guess the last game of the season you've got to buy. So that's going to be nail-biting stuff if things don't go your way. So a lot at stake, obviously. Deakin Ducks, they're at the moment, as we said, 3 points ahead of third place Maidstone United. Both those teams have got 3 games to go. Deakin's got something like a plus 23 goal, a superior goal difference over Maidstone United. So they are in the box seat as well. And, geez, how good would it be to get 4 Geelong teams in State 4 next year? Barwon and Bell Park, of course, are still going to be there. They're safe from relegation. But then to have Lara and Deakin, on the one hand, that's exciting. But on the other hand, I guess the fight for players, it becomes quite congested, doesn't it? What's your thoughts? You're obviously excited about it, but will it become a little bit harder? Or the fact that geographically speaking, you're very close to, say, the Point Cook Wyndham area, that may also prove to be quite an attractive option for a lot of players just, 20 minutes away down the highway.
Well, that's the case, yes. I don't think with Bell Park and Deakin and that their geographical spots will affect us too much. I mean, State League players do travel a fair bit anyway.
Yeah.
But look, our club's not. It's been built on camaraderie, as I think we had an earlier interview this year, and we've gone old school amateur on our team this year. There's no incentives or anything. It's just purely come to the club and play football with a bunch of mates. So I don't think our numbers would be an issue. I think. If anything, I expect us. We are getting some inquiries already about next year. I mean, because technically, I think we are in the promotion zone now, regardless of what results come ahead.
Yep.
So I do know that there are some players now starting to contact us about next year, which is exciting already. That's already on the radar. But I think the way Eric has built up our playing list over the last few years, the camaraderie there, we've had massive numbers to the tryouts. So I would expect that to continue. Our ground's getting fixed at the end of the year, so that's been an issue for us. Picking up some players because we are getting known to have shin splints when you play at Lara because the ground's so hard. But Greater City of Geelong is going to redo our ground at the end of the season, so that will take care of that finally. So I think everything's on the up at the club. Ever since we've had the club rooms and the lights mainly, the club just has gone from strength to strength, really.
Yeah, you had on the weekend, you had an iPod shuffle night straight after the game. So that was always something like that. Is something that previously you weren't able to have. So I guess all of those little things add up. And the last time we spoke how Lara is really just exploding. And I went for a drive today around Lara West area, and there are houses and estates just sprouting up everywhere. And no doubt that's probably going to have a positive effect as well on player participation numbers as well. But look, we could talk about the women's side, we could talk about the juniors, we could talk about the club, but I guess this Friday night it's all about the senior men and the reserves who have been doing so well as well. The reserves are playing at 6:30 p.m, is that correct?
Correct, Tonsi, that's correct. Yep, the reserves have been very strong this year. That's been one of the strengths of the club for the men this year is our reserves in the pre-season matches were almost as strong as our seniors when they were playing matches and that. So, and that's been the big difference probably the last 2 years is if we've had some injuries, we've got a lot of numbers to call on to come in, and that's probably why we're in the position where we are now as opposed to other years.
Yeah, and obviously the main game kicking off at 8:30. We're hoping the weather's going to be nice. There's spring in the air, that's for sure. Lots of undercover seating and cover as well. The canteen will be out there. You're expecting a big crowd, are you? Obviously.
Well, I think so. I'm not sure what other games are getting played on Friday night, but if the weather's, I believe when I looked at the radar last, the weather's looking good for the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, and Linda kicking goals in that canteen with all the stuff she does, she's getting quite renowned with her gravy and chips and all the things she puts on from a lot of the clubs.
Yeah, big shout out to Linda Tagani there in the canteen as well. Yeah, mate, all the very, very best for the weekend. We certainly hope there's going to be a big crowd, lots of action, lots of goals. And we are hoping for a fantastic game. I'm sure it will be. And the boys will certainly be looking forward to giving Coach Eric Lawrence an early wedding present. He's tying the knot, I believe, in October. So all the best to him as well off the field.
That's correct, Tons. He's got a very busy next 4 or 6 weeks, I think. We were talking about it the other night, some of the things we've got to plan between now and the gold medal night to finish off the season, everything like that, all our crazy Saturdays, silly Saturdays and things like that. So he'll be very busy. He's looking forward to his wedding and for a holiday, I think, in Bali. So, so good luck to him and good luck to the club. I really hope for the club. It's our 25th anniversary, 11 years in State League. We've got the promotion, but I think we would feel that we've come up short if we don't secure one more win. And so I hope the boys can bring their best game on Friday night and we can get it.
Good on you, mate. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Wishing you all the very, very best. And I guess we have to be quite objective here as far as both Geelong clubs are there. We wish Deakin all the best, but we also wish Lara all the best. And well, congratulations on the promotion. We certainly hope this Friday night that there's going to be a massive crowd. And we're imploring the entire Geelong football community to come out in your masses and droves. And I certainly expect one person will be there, Russell Butler. I see that man absolutely everywhere. He was down at Surf Coast last Saturday. I'm sure he will probably be there on Friday night. Good on you, Paul. All the very best.
Thanks, Tonti. Take care, mate. Have a good night.
Take care. Bye-bye. And that is it for tonight. A big thank you to all of our guests who came on earlier tonight. Really appreciated their presence in tonight's show. Just a reminder, tomorrow Geelong taking on Clifton Hill. Very important game. There will be an article, I'm told, in the Geelong Advertiser previewing that tomorrow. Good luck to Geelong tomorrow night against Clifton Hill. And if you can make it, the trip up the highway to the home of the Matildas. Yes, shortly after Jasko Ikanovic's goal in the 92nd minute, referee Pat Wood blew his whistle to signal full-time, sparking wild, frenzied celebrations at Banyul Warrior Reserve last Saturday night. We're going to take you out tonight's show with some of those scenes and some of that celebration. From me, good night, and we look forward to seeing you again on joining us on the next episode of the Geelong Region Soccer Show next Wednesday night.
Wolves!